Hi guys, so today I'm going to be working on a craft kit from the brand Craft Kitsune, and this was actually one of their very first boxes to ever come out, and I finally got around to doing it. I've never done UV resin work before, but I'm always so intrigued by UV resin craft pieces that have water as one of their features, and I really wanted to do this one because I knew because it was something so cute I would actually keep it out in my room and it would be worthwhile to make. So the very first thing I did is I actually went out and got some extra supplies like rocks and greenery, because otherwise I thought it would have been just a little too plain with just the goldfish and the wooden background. I also really like this kit because it came with all the things that you would need if you've never done resin before, like this UV lamp. Unfortunately, I didn't have a hazmat suit with me, but we're just gonna hope that's a translation error. Along with the UV lamp and the resin, of course, we also have the fish, which I thought were really cool. Again, I've never used something like this before. Basically, the fish were stickers that came in multiple layers so that it looked like a three-dimensional look when you put them on top of each other. I definitely wish, though, that the fishes themselves had numbers for each fish for which order you were supposed to put it in. And also, I gotta say, some of the fish were kind of questionable looking. I will say that even though I wanted rocks in there to give it that little something extra, it definitely made it more difficult placing the fish in because you really do need a perfectly straight surface for the fish to go on there nicely. Luckily, I was able to angle it enough so that it could fit in because the rocks were up so high that I would have had to use a lot of resin beforehand. And I didn't really have that much resin, and you need at least like 4 or 5 layers because that's how many fish stickers there are. One thing I wish I did a little better with the fish stickers also is that I really should have, after each layer, really used a toothpick or something to really push down the sticker, because once everything was dry you could really see that there were bubbles from the sticker when you hold it up to the light. So I wish I really, pushed it down more with a popsicle stick. I also just left the bubbles in there from the resin because personally, resin has enough hazards as it is. I don't really want to take out a blowtorch and try to get bubbles out. But I really think that there's really no problem when you're doing a watercraft to just leave the bubbles in there because it kind of makes it look more like water, Water has bubbles, so I was fine leaving it like that. It also would have been nice to be able to put maybe some more fish in there, but it was really hard to get any more than that one fish, I thought, because with the rocks and everything, it just would have looked too crowded. Luckily, on this longer piece, I was able to fit some of the smaller fish in so that I could still use them. On this longer piece also, I was originally going to cover the whole thing up with that sand like I did with the other one, but it really was so shallow, and because it's curved, it didn't really look that great. So I ended up just doing a little pattern on the bottom, which I liked. I also would have liked to have just a tad more bit of resin because I did use the entire bottle. I think I was definitely using more than what was intended because in the square dish I did have to have it up fairly high because of the rocks in there. But I definitely would have liked a little more for this piece that I'm working on right here because the top still didn't have the best layer. And it was really hard to get the resin perfectly even on this again because of the curve. So I kept trying to put stuff on the end and getting it to line up, because that was one of my biggest problems I found too, is that I would dry the resin, but the resin hadn't actually made like a perfectly flat layer yet. So that was kind of frustrating. So that's another thing that I would look out next time I'm doing a resin craft. I also was just running out of room in general everywhere on these crafts. As you can see in this one, the fish unfortunately stuck out a bit, so I had to chop off bits of the stickers. And then along with the fish, you also got little plant stickers and cherry blossom leaf stickers, and I really wanted to use them all, but you only have so much room to put them down, unfortunately. So I wasn't able to use that many, but I think it was enough that still gives like a nice leafy effect and looks like they're actually in a more natural environment. So my next extra little step I decided to add myself was to put some mossery on the edges of the tank, because again, I thought just the wood itself was too plain. Originally I thought it would have been awesome to like do like a wood carving print or something in the sides. Like this wasn't something I would be able to do, but I thought that would be really cool, doing like a delicate drawing on the outside with like a wood burning kit or something like that. But because I didn't have that, I thought, moss would be a good idea to do in there because it would match with the river rocks and it would give it some color on the outside. So I got my trusty hot glue gun, which I love because it glues in like 2 seconds. And I put some nice moss on the outside, and I think it really made it look really good. Like it looks so put together that way. And I'm really happy with the little additions I added because it feels a lot more natural this way. Overall, this was a super fun craft. And again, resin isn't something that I want to do too often, I think, but I definitely like doing crafts here and there because I think the water crafts for resin are always just so cool because you really can't recreate that look with any other material.